get your take on why you think certain Irish employers are struggling to find skilled workers across different industries at the moment, and kind of maybe some of the challenges they're facing, where we're maybe filling the gaps in on that, and I guess an overview of how most industries are doing at the moment.
Of course. So I think a good place to start is there is roughly a population of 5 million here in Ireland, which is a lot different to the talent pool that we're working with in the Philippines, which is roughly 116 million. So straight away there's a massive gap there in the amount of people that are available for work here in Ireland. I suppose I feel like in the last few years there has been a massive lack of younger people going and doing a trade. So for example, your standard carpenters, electricians. I feel like there was a gap of about 10 years there where not many people were going to do that kind of a role. So now there's a massive gap of those people here in Ireland. I do think the department are trying to put things in place at the moment to improve that going forward, but that gap is still there. And that's going to take a number of years. So right now, we can get those candidates over in the Philippines.
Yeah, I think you're bang on with that, and I think it's been at least a decade or two in the making, really. And I think it's not even just localised to Ireland alone. I think most of Europe has done the same thing over a few different governmental stretches, where the push has been higher education, right? People just aren't going into the trades, and I think where we are now, you know, hindsight's a brilliant thing, but if we were to go back 10, 20 years ago when the push was go and get a degree, you could have seen that this was coming. And I think what's really important, and I guess the message that we're always trying to put out there, is that we aren't very rarely anyone's sole and only way of bringing talent in. We're not a replacement for local workers in any way. We are there to help support businesses that are needing large volume when it comes to bringing staff in. I think we were talking before, weren't we, where, you know, if a business needed, say, 20 carpenters, 20 welders, you know, in a small town, say, like Ballymena or, you know, other areas dotted across Ireland, the likelihood that they'll be able to find that number of highly skilled workers is pretty low. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to tap in to help support that situation as opposed to replace that situation. And I think what you're mentioning, you know, things like apprenticeship schemes, they're on the up massively in the UK now as well. The government is pushing a lot when it comes to helping businesses bring apprentices in. But that's not an instant fix either. You bring an apprentice in, they're not ready to work fully skilled tomorrow. They might have a number of years that they've got to go through. They've still got to do college courses alongside that. And does that mean that businesses have just got to put the brakes on, can't do what they're trying to do for a few years? No, so we're there to kind of fill those gaps and sort of top up the numbers, I guess, where they're needed.
And I feel like there we've been kind of talking about the blue collar roles. There's also the white collar roles that we need to take into consideration as well. I feel like a lot of Irish people are moving, once they have their degree, they're moving abroad. So they're going to the likes of Australia or Canada or South America, anywhere where there's maybe the weather is a little bit better, they want to travel for a little while, and I think that's where there's a massive gap. They're not coming back then for another few years, so I think that's where Irish companies are really, really struggling with getting those guys to stay in Ireland.
Yeah, well, it's on the white collar roles, but the blue collar roles are doing the same. There's a lot of money that can be found abroad, and businesses don't know it's happening to them. You know, they can take someone on, they train them up, they get them qualified, and as soon as they're qualified, they can disappear for it. And you can't blame them either. Obviously, you know, the younger generation coming up have got their hopes and aspirations and things that they want to go and do. So, you know, the attitude on that side of the scale is, well, of course I would get my qualification here and move on. But as a business, you sit there and go, well, how am I supposed to survive if I keep on putting time and money into people that potentially aren't going to be there to help facilitate the business needs moving forward?